As the sun rises above Eastbourne, the south coast of the UK, I'm going to be taking a car that you may have never heard of, a Kia Sportage-sized Chinese brand that's coming to the UK imminently. It's a JAECOO and the model is a J7 plug-in hybrid. This car has a theoretical range of 745 miles with that battery pack and the petrol engine. So I'm going to be going from here all the way up to Aberdeen without refilling it. So I'm trying to drive quite carefully. I'm trying to get under the skin of this interesting car, and I've got to do a couple of challenges along the way. Come with me as we go on a journey. I'm Jonny Smith. You're watching The Late Break Show. Now, what I didn't say was the fact that I can't just drive to Aberdeen flat out, non-stop in that way. I've actually been challenged to stop at a couple of key places by JAECOO because I'm not the only person doing this challenge. There's a couple of other people doing it. And I want to do no cheating. So I'm going to put a cross of tape across it in a highly scientific way to prove that I'm definitely not touching the charging port. It's got CCS in there, by the way. It will charge CCS, which is pretty good for a plug-in hybrid. And I've got a specific pit stop that I've got to go to, which is going to be handed to me now. And I now know where I've got to set my sat-nav to. Pit stop number 1, St Helens picnic site in Thetford Forest. Love Thetford Forest, great place. Santon Down and Brandon. Right, so I'm going to put that in. I'm going from there to there, then I'm hopscotching from there to another place. Let's go. Right, so I'm leaving the dealership in Eastbourne, and you can probably see that I've still got my coat on, and that's because I didn't want to blast the heating out. This is a sort of economy challenge that I've been set, so I want to drive it as efficiently as I can without it being excruciating. EV drivers will know what I'm talking about. Heated steering wheel on if you've got it. This does have it, and heated seats. It's got this really comprehensive 520 degree camera, so it's 360, and it also has what they call a glass transparent chassis, so you can see the typography of the land and kind of under the car. And that's because if you ordered this as an all-wheel drive version, it has some pretty impressive off-road credentials. I mean, they can all wade 600 mil of water, and the approach angles and the departure angles, I'll put them on the screen now, but they're pretty impressive because it doesn't have very long overhangs, the J7. In fact, the whole car proportionally, I think, is much better in person, in the metal, than it is from the photos that I originally saw. But I'm going to stop and do a walk round in a bit more detail in a second. Because this is like the luxurious trim level, the plug-in hybrid version that we get here in the UK, it comes with the biggest screen, which I think is over 14 inches. I've got Android Auto already plumbed in on my phone, which is where the navigation is, because I've been set my first pit stop for my little challenge, which is in Brandon, in Suffolk. So we're going to go there, then we'll end up going to an overnight spot somewhere near Hull, I believe. And all the while, I'm trying to kind of be efficient. My battery was 92%, I think, when we set off. And the overall range was 693 miles. That's your combination of EV only range, and you can just hold it in EV range because there's physical buttons here. Not that many. Driving mode, which is that one, and you can see it defaults to normal mode, but I'm actually putting it in eco mode. Eco mode. Sport mode I will not be using much today. It's mad to think that JAECOO and Omoda and lots of other Chinese brands that have not been around for very long, certainly not in Europe, are breaking through with such high-end product from the word go. You compare it to when the Korean brands started selling in the UK, the early days of Kia and Hyundai, their stuff was very kind of basic, white good-like, and purely built for value. But I mean, just looking at it and sitting in it, like the standard of living is high. And if you want to keep an eye on all the kind of safety features which are kind of mandatory or to get good Euro NCAP safety these days, bearing in mind this has, I think, a 5-star Euro NCAP rating actually, this J7. If you swipe up from the bottom of the screen, you get your heating and stuff like that, and you can go to the menu. I think if you swipe down from the top, that's when you can turn off things like lane departure. You can turn off the audible warning for the speeds in the different speed zones. But I've got a head-up display, and the head-up display obviously shows me important things like sat-nav and also my cruise control setting and my speed. What's cool is I didn't realise it has snow mode. So in snow, when obviously there's white snow outside, the head-up display turns to blue. So I think it works with the temperature, the outside temperature. It's going to be interesting. We're going to be spending a lot of time probably on doing motorway kind of speeds, and that's what I'm eager to know, whether or not the acoustics are quite quiet, because I mean this thing has a class leading size pano roof, and I love a pano roof. But this one actually opens, the first half of it opens. Not sure I'm going to be opening it today because I want warmth, which is why I've still got my coat on. So although I'm driving to Aberdeen via some pit stops and one overnight, we might see a couple of other JAECOO J7s because a few other content makers are doing the same thing. I've got Paul Wallace from Supercars of London, got Emma Walsh, got Archie Hamilton. I've got a feeling we're going to be using a lot of screen wash today. It's just one of those days, winter, lots of that horrible road muck. One thing I'm pleased to tell you is that when I first clapped eyes on the JAECOO J7, I thought it was going to be enormous, because the photos make it look enormous, especially that really imposing front end. But in the metal, I can tell you it's not too much. I actually think it's a really well-proportioned car. The profile shot that you're staring at now, there's definitely whiffs of existing other designs, I think. I mean, you only need to look at that rear spoiler and the D-pillar with that plastic detail and you think, that looks Range Rover Evoque, or even Range Sport. And I think that's intentional. And that's not a bad thing at all. I love that vertical chop down back. But anyway, to the side, those creases over the back arches and that line which fades away across the top of the doors, those retractable door handles, we see them quite a lot. They're apparently to aid aero. But you know what? This front end here, with the kind of almost semi-clamshell front bonnet bit, it's very, very clean. There's a lot of cluttered car design about, and I actually think that considering JAECOO are a new company, or certainly very new in the UK market, normally it takes a long time to get any designs to have any form of cohesion. Look how long it's taken Kia and Hyundai, for example, which this car is really the arch rival of. That is what they're aiming for. If you're looking at a BMW X1, a Kia Sportage, those sorts of cars, this is the major rival here, but undercutting it at 35 grand for the top spec car, which the FEV is. So the back end here, yeah, this full width kind of band. I know it's dirty because we're on a road trip, but this full width band has got the name behind this clear perspex here. With that rear diffuser there, no visible exhaust, despite the fact it's obviously got an engine. And you can see the sweep line. Yeah, it's got a rear wiper, which a lot of EVs don't have now, but this has a wiper and it goes up there. It's completely hidden and disguised under this little roof spoiler here. These vertical reflectors here, again, I quite like the way that they're kind of Frenched in. It does look really neat. This side is the fuel filler flap. The other side is the charger port, which has got CCS, so you can rapid charge this car. But it looks big, right? This car looks really big, but the J7's actually 4,500mm long, 1,865mm wide, and 1,680mm high. How does that compare to a lot of its rivals? Interesting. It's shorter than a Range Rover Evoque, but the Evoque is wider and the Evoque is slightly lower. The BMW X1, exactly the same length overall, slightly narrower and slightly lower. Kia Sportage and Tucson, 10 mil longer, same width and slightly lower. So if you like cars that are high off the ground, it is high. I don't think it's any surprise that there's lots of key influences that appear to be Range Land Rover-esque. That's because the company that owns JAECOO, Chery, they're actually in charge of doing a lot of the Chinese manufacture for Land Rover in China. There you go. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Anyway, I've got to get on. So I've got to get to the stop. The pit stop is in 29 miles, 33 minutes. And the pit stop challenge that I've been set, this is out of the team of people doing this road trip in the J7s. Who has the best taste? The next site is a picnic spot in the middle of a forest, Thetford Forest. While on your route, hunt down the most delicious treat you can find for the crew. The goal is to impress them with your impeccable palate and creativity to win an extra 25 miles to add to your final score. I like the idea of the extra miles. I don't want to go outside of the route just to find foodstuffs, but I've just noticed that there's a services, so I think I might pop in and sniff out a snack that Emma, Archie and Paul will fancy, although I don't know what they like. I know Paul likes his energy drink, so I might get him something dirty. Anna, I said I wasn't going to be using the little chiller drawer, the console, but no, I need to keep my naked natural energy that I've bought for the team nice and cool, because it's orange, pineapple and mango with vitamins and real fruit. And also my cluster of kittens, nobody wants melted chocolate, so they can go in there. So we're going through Thetford Forest now. We're nearly at the checkpoint, 7 miles away. I've covered 140 miles, so we will have done 150 miles by the time we get there. I'm following where I was told to go, and it's either the right way or we're being led into a murder trap. And I will make the final decision on that shortly. Is it me, or are they incredibly large cattle? That's an Aberdeen Angus, isn't it? Which is deeply ironic that we're going to Aberdeen, but we're in Suffolk, but we've seen Aberdeen Anguses or Angai. Oh, smells nice. Hey guys, look, I bet you didn't know that the main rivals for the JAECOO J7 are like the Audi Q3, VW Tiguan, Hyundai Tucson, which is probably, it's almost exactly the same size as that car. BMW X1, very similar to that. Citroen C5 Aircross, Kia Sportage, which is the same as the Hyundai Tucson, but you get what I mean. It's really similar. Those are the main competitors, but that car actually undercuts them quite significantly in price. Definitely the X1, which is 41 grand. Definitely the Tucson, 39 and a half almost. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. It's helpful. That was quite narrow there. Quite narrow. Right, I'm hungry. Let's see what they've got for us.
All right then, we have made it to pit stop number 1, Thetford Forest, a picnic stop.
A lovely vista.
I've gone for an Easter theme.
Have you? Oh, you got them in your pocket.
Have you ever seen orange chocolate mint Mini egg.
No one's giving you 25 extra miles.
That's why I'm driving extra efficiently.
Well, that,
What do you get,
okay.
Johnny?
Well, I've got to go inside for mine because I've used the chilling centre console unit to keep it fresh.
He's bought champagne.
Oh, he's used the fridge.
I've used the fridge.
Oh, he's clever.
And I've gone for
he's clever.
quality, not quantity. I've gone for some
Clutter of kittens.
chocolate kittens.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've gone for three.
Why 3?
Because you, and Emma over there, it's allegedly quite good for you energy drink.
I like
Okay.
it.
So you've got a bit of drink, you've got some nice chocolate kittens. Done.
I like
Perfect.
that. Do you want to see mine?
I'd love
More
to.
importantly.
I'd love to, please. What
Well,
does
I
he
didn't
eat?
really know what to get, so I just bought some cupcakes.
Oh, they're
That's
nice.
actually not too bad.
So I thought, so these are mega caramel vanilla cupcakes. We've got lots of different ones.
That looks amazing.
And yeah, I think I win basically.
I'm impressed with that.
I'd like to introduce
Jesus.
JAECOO. This is JAECOO
Is it
to the
pinata?
party.
Did you buy a wicker
It's
basket?
all about presentation, yeah. And there's some mini Krispy Kreme donuts in here.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you've literally bought a dog.
I thought it was a pinata.
Sorry, it's
Can we whack it?
JAECOO.
Hang on, Emma. Is that a dressing gown?
This is a picnic blanket.
It's like a throw.
Oh, it's a blanket.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, it's a lot. I think it might be too much though.
Well, they can like sit down and then eat the donuts, and JAECOO can join in.
I actually like the basket thing.
Thank you.
It's smart.
How do we know who wins anyway?
I don't know who's about to ask it. We just
Clearly not up to us.
Yeah.
Right, so. Oh, right. I'm guessing that means not you. You didn't win, like the anti-lottery. So clearly my cluster of kittens and my naked energy didn't work. I wonder who won though. I have taken one of Archie's artisanal cupcakes because I actually think they're probably very nice. Whether he's won, I don't know. Most important thing for me is whether I've won the efficiency so far. Because I think I've only just dipped below 600 mile range. So that's all right. I think that's doing all right. We'll see though, we'll see. Let's go. I'm wondering whether or not, what have I got? So we are 61 miles from the hotel overnight. I've got 504 miles of range and 26% of my battery. When I set off from the picnic stop, it had gone down to about 17, 18%. But obviously I've been now going through some B roads. This is Fenland territory here. So I've actually increased the regen and I've been harvesting back some electricity into my battery pack, which will really help. And at these low speeds, the car's running at electric only. Anyway, we are near Boston. Yeah, but not America, obviously. In fact, hang on a minute. We are about 2 miles away. I've only just noticed because it's pitched up. We're about 2 miles away from the National Bubble Car Museum, where my old electric drag race car lives, where it was retired to. And that was in 2015 and 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, the world's quickest street legal electric car. Fact. I do so much road driving and so many miles in a year because of the job I do that I find that music starts to tire me out. So to stimulate my mind a bit when I'm driving along, and a quiet engine car is a great place to really showcase this, is to have a good sound system. This J7's got the top spec Sony speaker system in it. I highly recommend the spoken word. I'm a big fan of podcasts, completely unbiased. I would recommend this one. It's called the Smith and Sniff podcast. Two guys do it, loosely based around car content, but it's really good. Smith and Sniff, you should try it. V8 from the 32 Ford off of America, but I think it was and I might... Oh, hi. You catch me 8 miles, 10 minutes from my Hull hotel for tonight, where I'll meet up with the other folks on this efficiency challenge road trip. 441 miles on the range, 25% battery, and I have been really enjoying getting some of that energy back into the battery via the regen on the back roads. It's been clear tonight, but it is cold, and of course cold temperatures are good for turbocharged engines, not as good for battery pack efficiency, but I've got both. Anyway, I can see the Humber Bridge, the bright lights of the Humber. It's a serious suspension bridge, this. Yeah. So today's the easy day, actually. Tomorrow we've got about 7 hours of driving probably, so a fair amount of driving to crack on with. And I hope the weather's going to be good, because I love that drive up north, where gradually everything gets more and more sparse through Yorkshire. You get to appreciate through the base of Scotland, then up into the quieter parts of Scotland. It's gorgeous. And I will keep my eyes peeled for any abandoned cars in fields or driveways, because you never know. You never know. The car pervert's work is never done. Good morning, day 2, early start. Tell you what though, I hadn't noticed this. There's a light on the tailgate here, there's also one here. They are so bright, it completely illuminates the loading area. So many cars I test don't have that. That has made me so pleased at 6 in the morning, so pleased. Right, mileage. Check. What's our range? 433 miles. We've got 24% battery. Okay. Challenge number 2. Pit stop number 2. So that's our address for the first pit stop, which is an hour's drive, North York Moors to a pub. Cool. The challenge for today. A new day brings a new challenge. The JAECOO 7 can tackle any driving environment, while providing you bought the 4-wheel drive version. Prove you've got an eye for capturing the beauty of the world. Before reaching your next pit stop, take a photo that embodies the pure joy of the great outdoors. Let nature inspire you to win an extra 25 miles to your final score, which we could really do with, actually. Okay. So I've got to really make sure that today I'm extra smooth and careful with my use of the throttle, and I want to just comb back as much energy as I can at every opportunity. But I am going to use the heated steering wheel, because like I said before, that uses less energy in actual fact than cabin heating. Well, I've been told before I get to the next pit stop I've got to take a photograph which typifies the beautiful great outdoors. I had to pull over for a lovely countryside view toilet, and look at this, a freshly sown field. I can smell the earth, the sun is rising, that beautiful cool crisp air. How do I capture that essence? I know, I stand on a gate and I ignore the litter. We are climbing and climbing and climbing onto the Yorkshire moors. There's sheep actually coming out of the mist. We have heavy mist, fog, which means I can't go fast anyway. I'm climbing hills, which means I'm probably using more fuel just to get over them. Not ideal, but I guess everyone's got to do it unless they've picked a different route to me. I'm 4 miles away from this pit stop. Oh, sheep in the road again. And 364 miles range left. We'll see.
I wonder what he's
I'm
done.
slightly concerned at how late he is,
Yeah,
how
why
slow.
are you so late?
Hi, how we doing?
Either you were late getting the picture,
Yeah.
or you panicked and you've not got a picture.
No, I've got a picture.
Look at that heat, look at that heated gilet as well.
Hey.
Is that the heat one?
No, actually, this one's not the heated one. This is just a backup gilet.
Oh, okay.
Always carry a backup gilet. I have got some pictures, although it hasn't been easy. What with the fog and all.
No, we know.
Let me just find them. Hang on.
Yeah, that's very cool. Are you flying?
I'm stood on.
Oh,
the,
no.
I'm stood on the top of a really
Oh,
high
that's really
gatepost.
good.
You can't see it in the picture, but it's mouldy, and I nearly fell off and broke my leg.
So you risked your life for this one.
And look at the vista.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nah,
It's beautiful.
I
The
can't-
car is still on tarmac.
Okay, so we got to the pit stop here, which is very high up. Ordinarily, this would be an amazing vista here on the Yorkshire moors, but you can't see anything because it's foggy and it's snowy. No, I haven't won the photo challenge, it seems, which I think is just bloody harsh. But before we crack on to Edinburgh, which is the next pit stop, where we obviously just break into Scotland, I just wanted to talk about these. These are the 19-inch wheels, 235/50/19 Kumo Extras, the tyres it's running on. So 50 profile tyres, which is, you know, a good size that helps the ride quality of the car. Too many cars have really, really low profile tyres, which really damages the quality of the ride. This has got quite a good ground clearance. That's why there's that gap between the arch. This one, obviously being the hybrid, is front wheel drive, but the four-wheel drive one promises pretty good four-wheel drive system using some Bosch technology. And I've been pretty impressed, actually, with the ride quality, given all of that. The steering's quicker than I was expecting. In fact, all the controls are more sensitive than I was expecting them to be. These wheels, five spokes with these kind of aero inserts, which we see a lot of now with EVs to make sure the car is as efficient as possible. Apparently, even with a completely flat battery, it'll still do over 50 to the gallon on a run. So I've obviously had to use throttle and energy to get up these sorts of hills in the unbelievable Yorkshire Dales. But it is cold, snow on the ground in these high places, and but I'm hoping as soon as we go over the crest, I'm going to back off and I'm going to regen brake down, and that's why I've got this menu on the screen here, so I can look my energy recovery intensity. I'm going to put it into probably high on the way down if it's steep, or low if I want to just get up to lots of speed without pressing the throttle once. I like playing around with stuff like that. Sun's just setting, ETA 7, because basically when you're doing a road trip and filming a road trip, there are differences. Trying to film it, you obviously have to stop and start a bit more, reset cameras, and try and capture the story. So we were going to be about 6, but we're now going to be 7. But that doesn't matter. I am getting close to my my limit on my range. 174 miles door to door to do, and I've got 201 miles in the car. So yeah, that's a little bit tricky. You have been distracted for a long time. Please focus on driving. I am focusing on driving. I've been focusing also on that amazing moon over there. We're, less than 80 miles from our destination in Aberdeen, and we have been greeted by a moon that is so huge and yellowy orange. I don't know if we can get it on camera, but we'll certainly try. Meanwhile, 77 miles to go, 114 range. It's telling me I'm distracted. I'm not distracted. I promise you I'm paying full attention to the car. One thing I wanted to say was about the cabin of this J7 is the fact that it is very, very roomy. I've got loads of room for this leg here with a big footplate, which I like. And these seats are actually remarkably supportive. I believe that I might be one of the last people to turn up out of the 4 of us who are driving J7 FEVs up to Aberdeen. But it's not about speed, is it? It's about economy and efficiency. And to be honest with you, I have been really enjoying my podcasts and stuff with this Sony audio system. It's been great. And it has been a quiet, comfortable experience. And I think those are very, very important on a car which does that sort of a job. Do I want a car like this to be sporty? No, I don't think I do. Do I want this car to be efficient? Yeah, I do.
I managed 653 miles with some 19% battery and 43 miles of petrol left in that 60-litre fuel tank. That means in the real world I've achieved the best part of 700 miles without refuelling or recharging. Frustratingly, I could have used all the battery to eke out a little more hypermiling on the home straight, but that was my mistake. Okay, I didn't win the eco road trip from Eastbourne to Aberdeen. Paul Wallace pipped me at that, damn it. But my hours behind the wheel have convinced me that this first model to launch in the UK with its so-called super hybrid system, 7-year warranty and comfy cabin is a strong contender for both long-range family car and EV-only commuter. Thanks for watching this road trip episode of The Late Break Show. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think of the JAECOO J7.